If you feel like you're living through some truly chaotic, unprecedented times, well, you might be right. Today, we're going to explore a fascinating historical framework that suggests all this turbulence, it isn't random at all. It really feels like everything is in turmoil, right? From politics to technology, you name it. But what if this isn't just noise? What if we're actually living through something much, much bigger? A genuine turning point in the story of humanity.
The core argument we're digging into here is that this turbulence isn't just some temporary political swing. No, it's a sign that we're at the very end of one massive historical era and right at the beginning of the next one.
So how can we tell the difference? Let's try to find the hidden rhythm in all this noise and see if this is just another crisis or if it's a once-in-a-civilization kind of reset. The philosopher Hegel actually had a word for this, the Zeitgeist, which means the spirit of the age. And his point was that some historical changes build up so much momentum that they just become inevitable. Okay, so what is it that drives these massive, inevitable shifts? Well, historians who study these long-term patterns, they point to a few key forces that really act like the engines of change. Usually 3 engines get brought up: the technology that powers our economy, the shifting moods and attitudes of different generations, and the universal laws of complexity that kind of govern all systems. For now, though, let's just focus on the first 2, because they have these really clear, observable rhythms. First up, let's dive into 2 of the most well-known historical rhythms, and we'll start with the one that powers our wallets and our world, technology. Way back in the 1920s, a Russian economist named Nikolai Kondratyev noticed something really profound. He figured out that capitalist economies don't just grow in a straight line. Nope, they move in these 50-year waves of boom and bust, and each and every wave is powered by some revolutionary new technology. And you can literally map out 5 of these distinct waves, all the way from the age of steam right up to the information technology that defines our lives today. But notice that end date for the 5th wave. According to this model, we are right at the very end of it, right now. So what does that mean? It means the next great platform is already taking shape all around us. Things like AI, quantum computing, and green energy. These aren't just trends. They are the actual foundation for the entire next economic era. Okay, so that's tech. The second rhythm is all about generations. Just think about the 1960s. You had Kennedy aiming for the moon, Johnson building a great society. It was a time of incredible optimism, right? Now compare that to today's mood. It often feels defined by anxiety, a longing for the past, and a really deep distrust in our institutions. This idea is captured by the Strauss and Howe generational theory. It proposes this 80 to 90-year cycle made of 4 turnings. After a post-war high, society has an awakening, like the 60s, then an unraveling of institutions, and finally a crisis, a time of destruction where the old order falls apart to make way for the new. And the theory says, we're deep in that crisis phase right now. All right, so we've got these 50-year tech cycles and these 80-year generational cycles. They're fascinating for sure, but here's where it gets really interesting. What happens when they peak at the same time? Well, that brings us to a much, much larger pattern. This is where the theory takes a huge leap. What if these smaller, well-known cycles aren't just happening on their own? What if they're all synchronizing, building up and coming to a head at the exact same time as part of a much grander pattern? And that grander pattern, it seems to have a number: 250 years. This is the proposed length of what's called a mega epoch, a true fundamental reset for an entire civilization. So a mega epoch isn't just one thing. It's not just a war or a new technology or a political shift. It's when all of those things happen at once. It's the moment history basically hits a giant reset button and society fundamentally changes direction at every single level. And if you look back, this 250-year rhythm just appears again and again. The Industrial Revolution kicked off around 1780. Before that, the Age of Discovery around 1492. Go back even further, you see the fall of Rome, the birth of the Roman Republic. So do the math with me. Add 250 years to 1780, and you land right around now. This framework gives us a powerful new lens to look through. All of a sudden, our current chaos doesn't look so random. You can start to see it as the predictable, turbulent end of the 250-year industrial era, and the birth of whatever comes next. And the shift is total. The core technologies, the power structures, our whole economic model, the global order, everything is in transition. The change we are living through isn't just some minor adjustment. It's as profound as the shift that took us from the age of monarchs into the Industrial Revolution.
So, where does this all leave us? I mean, if this theory holds true, what could the next 250-year chapter of human history even look like?
Well, if the last 250 years were defined by industrial machines, the next 250 will likely be defined by intelligence and biology. The AI revolution isn't just an economic shift. It could set the stage for transformations that literally redefine what it means to be human. So this pattern doesn't just explain the chaos we're feeling, it gives us a map. It places our generation at one of the most pivotal moments in history. The decisions we make right now aren't just for us, they are laying the foundation for the next 250 years. As this era ends and a new one begins, what story will history tell about us?